Hello, Kobold friends. I am Gabby, and wow, I wanted to make this video a few months ago, but things got really crazy in my life over the holiday season. Nonetheless, I think there's no better time than the present to talk about a game that's hit pretty close to home for me. Deltarune, Chapter 2, as you probably guessed by the title. Like many other people across the internet, I've had my emotions stirred by Toby Fox's creations since the release of Undertale. Now, forgive me for fangirling, but I feel like he really outdid himself with the release of Chapter 2 of Deltarune. The story, the characters, the music, the evil Snowgrave route. Overall, just like his previous works, this game made me feel things. Good things, bad things, things I'd like to share and explore further with you today. In particular, I would like to talk about the chapter's main villain, Queen. Now before I go any further, I'd like to warn you that this video will contain spoilers for Deltarune Chapter 2. So if for some crazy reason you haven't played it by now, I highly recommend that you do so before watching. With that out of the way, let's talk about Queen. Clearly based on the wine mom archetype, this eccentric antagonist actually has quite a bit more depth than immediately evident. One thing that quickly stuck out to me when I played through this chapter is just how less malicious she seemed than the king from Chapter 1. She's quirky and playful. She doesn't attack or even want to fight you outright. Of course, she does sick some disposable mind-controlled minions on you. But this is where her villainous character traits, as well as an ongoing theme throughout Chapter 2, begin to surface. Control and manipulation, but not with entirely malicious intent. We get a deeper look at this from the moment she forms a truce with Chris in her search for Noelle. During the car ride not long after, she expresses concern for Noelle's safety and for Chris's health should they fail to
get the banana.
We see this to an even greater degree when Chris and the party are captured and placed in their, rooms. This is where we see that Queen even went out of her way to try to create comfortable and enjoyable living quarters for, well, everyone. Of course, she failed miserably, and these rooms are little more than just prison cells. But still, there was an attempt, and I gotta admit, they're a lot nicer than the cell you're crammed in during Chapter 1. Even after the grand climax of the chapter, Queen is quick to abandon her grand scheme when she learns just how much harm it would do in the long run. So what gives? What's with this odd, tender side of Queen? Well, upon nearing the end of Chapter 2, we learn that Queen's motive for world domination is to create a world where everyone is happy. A world that, in her mind, can only exist with her as its ruler. She is concerned with the well-being of others and wants what's best for everyone. However, she thinks she can only accomplish this by controlling every little aspect of everyone's lives. This, my friends, is a quintessential example of a helicopter parent. What is a helicopter parent, you might ask? Well, if you've ever seen Finding Nemo, Marlin is a good example. More realistic and less hyperbolical than what we see here. Controlling, overprotective, and overbearing, helicopter parents, well, they genuinely love their kids, but lack the confidence to give them any meaningful autonomy. They believe that the only way to ensure their well-being is to remain in constant and complete control. Ironically though, this type of upbringing is anything but good for a child's well-being. Children raised by helicopter parents have been known to have poor emotional and behavioral regulation. This in turn leads to social problems and reduced performance in school growing up. What it all comes down to is that when a parent strives to regulate every aspect of a child's life, they grow up without the ability to regulate themselves. It really makes sense when you think about it. You deny a child autonomy from a young age, and they never develop autonomy growing up. All these ill effects on the development of a child, it reminds me of somebody in particular. Well, two characters to be exact. Noelle and Chris. For starters, Chris, we know very little about their past. Namely, what kind of life they lived before Toriel adopted them. Did they ever know their birth parents? If so, what were they like? While Chris does show many signs of past trauma and emotional abuse, the best we can do is speculate on what happened to them. What made them this way? Based on the depictions of abusive parental figures in both chapters 1 and 2, though, I do think it's fair to surmise that Chris did know their birth parents, but did not have a healthy relationship with them. Noelle, too, shows similar signs of a less than ideal upbringing. This is supported by her father's comments on her mother at the end of the chapter. Noelle is smart, competent, and much stronger than even she realizes. However, due to her social anxiety and self-doubt, she continues to live in Birdley's shadow. She is also very impressionable and easily manipulated. She just can't bring herself to put her foot down and say no to an authoritative figure. And this is where the story starts to hit very close to home for me personally. I was a late bloomer in many aspects. There were many essential life experiences that I simply did not have until I was in my mid to late 20s. Many things I did not learn about the world or about myself until relatively recently even. Much of this, of course, can be traced back to my upbringing, and I know I'm not alone in this. I know many of you out there have had similar experiences with overbearing parental figures. Experiences, or lack thereof, that made your transition into adulthood much more difficult than it needed to be. We all carry scars and burdens from the past, but it's important to remember that they don't define us. Like I said earlier, there's no time like the present to start a good thing, to build or rebuild and pave the way to a brighter future. But to bring this back around to Deltarune, Queen is a deeply flawed character. Even if she is well-meaning, you know what they say about where a road paved with good intentions leads. Chris and Noelle are both emotionally damaged from their past experiences, and I suspect that Queen may be a caricature of their mothers. The mothers that played a role in those damaging experiences. Of course, this is kind of getting into speculation territory, especially for Chris. What matters is that Queen's controlling nature certainly can lead to behavioral issues similar to those we see in Chris and Noelle. Despite all this, we see that Deltarune isn't all about the damage and the hurt. True, we see characters living with the pain and scars of past trauma, but we also see them embarking on a healing journey. We see them making friends, mending emotional wounds, learning from their mistakes, and striving to be better people. And that's something I think we can all take away from this game. I really look forward to seeing where the story goes from here, and what other characters we might encounter along the way. It might take a while, but so far it's been worth the wait. After all, much like growing as a person, making a quality game takes time. But what do you think? Do you know anybody who reminds you of Queen? Have you ever struggled with self-confidence or autonomy? Do you get enough potassium in your diet? Comment below and let us know. At any rate, that's all I have to say on that for now. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I really hope to continue making more videos like this moving forward, so if you like what you're seeing, please be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and all that good stuff. I'm also starting to make Let's Play and other gaming content, so be sure to check me out on Twitch and subscribe to my gaming channel if you're interested. Also feel free to join my Discord server. I'm trying to put together a little community of casual, social gamers. Anywho, thanks again for watching, and until next time, remember to find the fun in everything.